right, you are back with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. Okay, so we are at episode number 4 in the Saturday special I'm doing called The Process, where I'm just going through the long, arduous, torturous process that led me to my final decision to quit alcohol. I don't know how many parts it's going to be. I'm just trying to remember as much as I possibly can. So last week, all the bullshit that I'd been telling myself over the years finally fell apart, and it was time to face the truth. So this episode is facing the truth, which is possibly the hardest part of the whole process of quitting alcohol, and it can also take the longest because people will avoid the truth at all costs. The truth about themselves. Taking a look in the fucking mirror is a very difficult thing to do. People would literally prefer to die than face the truth about themselves. Look in the mirror. And when you're a drinker, that's partially a function of the drinking, is to never get you to look in the fucking mirror. Because the booze works directly on your fucking ego, and as long as you're drinking, that voice in your head will tell you that you're the best and everyone outside is a cunt. That's why if you're an alcoholic for long enough, you end up drinking by yourself in a fucking room because you've chased everyone else away, you've avoided looking in the mirror, and now it's just you and booze. That's it. That's your life partner until you fucking take stock. So facing the truth about yourself is, I would say, the hardest part of the whole thing. I was avoiding it as well. Even after the lies had fallen apart, I was still drinking heavily. So I was still able to lie to myself about some shit. But what happened to me was I had a series of very bad acid trips. So the facing the truth for me was turbocharged. Rocket fuel fucking turbocharged. I really had no intention of facing the truth either. It really wasn't on the list of things I was going to do. But when you take acid and lots of it, there's no place to hide. You have to face it. There's nothing you can do about it. So I'm a little bit blurry on the timelines of the way it went down because I was fucking on acid. But I had a massive 5 days on acid or 4 days, whatever the fuck it was, with my mate who's now passed away, the late, great Will Thomas. I did a full episode on it. It's called Will Thomas. Look it up if you want to hear about that. But that one shook me. That one really scrambled the fucking Boyle brain. I had one not long after that in Sydney, a bad one, but it was manageable. And then the final fucking acid trip was the ego death one I had in Bathurst. I actually had 2 in a row in Bathurst. I had the first night in Bathurst, and that really fucking weakened me. And then I got fucking hammered the next night, and I was being an absolute cunt. And I'm like, I'm taking some acid. And all my friends were like, don't take acid, whatever you do. And I'm like, fuck you. And I double dropped some acid, and then my whole world crumbled about an hour and a half later. This is the one where I was with my mate Dino on the dance floor. I fucking floated above myself, looked down on myself, got back into my body. I'm like, Dino, I gotta leave. He's like, yeah. Before that, he was trying to keep me there, and he's like, yeah, you gotta go, man. So I left, ended up walking through this fog, and systematically fucking brick by brick, my whole personality, my whole fucking ego disintegrated. Everything I thought I had been, my whole entire persona, I got shown that it was just fucking bullshit. So I ended up staying in my mate's shed, went over to my mate Dino's, was on the couch. I've got no ego anymore. I'm done. I'm fragile as fuck. I'm trying to piece it together. This is when I was like, at least I'm funny. I know I'm funny. That's the minimum I fucking know about myself. That's the only fucking germ of anything I could latch onto. Even though it might not have been true, it was true enough at that point I could hold on to something. Everything else had collapsed completely. I saw it all as well. It was like a flash. I saw every bullshit, mean, fucking nasty thing I'd ever done to anyone in my entire life. I saw it all, and that crushes you as well. So I had just had nothing left. There was nothing left to fucking stand on. So that's when I was like, I need to make some fucking changes. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I need to do it. So after my fucking ego death, where I realized I faced the fucking truth, I faced it. Brutally faced it. I do not recommend people go down that path. That is fucking a very difficult path. And to be honest with you, I was really fucking lucky to escape that with my fucking marbles. At quite a few places along that fucking period there where I was facing the truth, I could easily have gone the other way. Easily. It's actually a miracle I kept my shit together somehow. So anyway, I was catching the train back to Sydney and I was going to my dad's house. I'm completely broken. I'm fucked. I've got no persona. Everything I had ever done in my life is a lie. And then I hop on the fucking train and my fucking tooth flares up. For the previous 8, 9, 10, 12 months, I'd had a broken tooth with an exposed nerve. And I'd just been able to work around it enough. Like, it was causing me pain maybe once a week, once a fortnight or something like that. But I was able to work around it because I was fucking too poor to get a fucking root canal. Or too tight. I was too tight to get a root canal. They're like $1,200 in Australia. So I had this fucking exposed nerve. And as soon as I hopped on the 3.5-hour train to Sydney, it just fucking exploded. It was like the worst pain I'd ever experienced in my entire life for 3.5 hours. And I had a kitty of painkillers and drugs in my fucking toiletries thing, and I took all of them on the way. I took enough to OD on painkillers and Xanax and everything. I was just taking everything on the way. And as I was taking all these painkillers and all this fucking bullshit, I was very aware that I could possibly, if things didn't go well, OD on this shit. But the pain was just too fucking much. So I spent 3.5 hours in the worst pain of my entire life. I finally get to my dad's house. I find these painkillers that they use for cancer. I bought them in Thailand or something. I was trying to buy Xanax and the guy handed me some shit over. I bought it and then a month later, I Googled it and it was fucking cancer painkiller. So anyway, I ended up taking that. My fucking tooth went down for a little while. The pain went away and I was done. Physically done, mentally done. I was just a husk of a human being. There was nothing there. And I don't know if my old man and his wife would remember this because they're fucking on the piss quite a bit as well. But I got to their place and I was just like, I've been wrong about everything. Everything I thought, I've been wrong. I've just been wrong. I'm like, I can't believe it. I was fucked. I'm like, I need to quit drinking. I need to get my body right. I need to start doing things. I'm a loser. I am just fucked. I've got nothing. I've wasted so much time. I'm fucked. So the next day I went and got my tooth sorted out. Well, half sorted out. My old man gave me $800 and sent me to his dentist who did half a root canal for $800 and said, come back when you have the money to finish it off. And once I'd done half of it, it was feeling good again. So I never went back. So I had half a tooth with the bottoms of the fucking nerves just jangling around for 4, 5, 6 years until that fucked up again. Anyway, once I got that fucking root canal, I could focus again. I was like, all right, it's time to face the fucking truth. I had to admit to myself, I'm zero. I am absolutely zero. I've got nothing. I've got no job prospects. I've got no skills. I've got no personality. My body's fucked. Physically, I'm fucked. I'm zero again. I'm zero. I have to rebuild. And I had no idea how I was going to rebuild. So I was like, all right, I'm going to take 6 weeks off drinking. And I'm going to exercise. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to eat healthy. I'm not going to eat any takeaways for 6 weeks either. I'm going to start guitar lessons. I'm going to start rebuilding this shit how I always wanted it to be. And I stayed at my old man's for a couple of nights. And then I realized not only do I have nothing, no personality, my body's fucked, I also have nowhere to live. So that's when I moved in to the 1-bedroom apartment in King's Cross with my schizophrenic brother. And it was not a luxury apartment. I was on the trundle behind the fucking couch. So if you can get more fucking rock bottom than that, you've got no personality, your fucking body's falling apart, your tooth's gone, you're homeless, and you're forced to move in onto a trundle into a 1-bedroom fucking shithole. And my God, it was a shithole. In the middle of King's Cross with this schizophrenic brother. There's not too much lower you can go, is there? I mean, there is, but I really didn't want to go much lower than that. That was low enough for me. I remember one particular fucking moment very clearly as well. I was on the trundle in the lounge room and my brother comes to the door. There was no actual door on it. It was just open. And I'm sitting there just so fragile. I can't fucking explain to you how fragile I was. I could not have taken any more blows, like physically or mentally or emotionally. I was real close to complete breakdown. But my brother comes in and he's just looking at me and I'm just sitting there fragile as fuck. And he's just looking at me and he's not saying anything. And then after a bit, he's like, it's fucked, isn't it? And I'm like, yeah, it is. It is fucked. Thanks. Can you just leave me alone for fucking 10 minutes now, please? But that little period there was rough and it was very fucking hard to deal with. But I'm glad that it all fell apart quick. It fell apart real quick for me. And I gotta say, I'm happy that it happened that way at that point because I don't think I would have done it any other way. I think I was too fucking dumb, naive. I had no guidance. I had no mentors. I had no one really to show me any path or any way out of anything. So I needed the acid to fucking help me along. But Jesus Christ, if you can do it without the fucking acid and the ego death and the falling apart of your mental health and physical health, go down that path because the other path is fraught with fucking danger. I only held on by an absolute fucking thread. So the next part, I guess, is going to be the rebuild. Trying to build Boyle 2.0. I gave myself 6 weeks to turn my life around. So that's enough for tonight. I'll continue this next week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and I'll see you the fuck later.